Can you hear me? Thank you. Thank you for joining us today. We are excited to announce the official launch of the new Online Grants Management System, or OGMS. The new system is scheduled to go live February 1st and provides the ability to manage different aspects of your DCJS grants. This is including managing users, submitting applications, programmatic and financial reports, reimbursement claims, budget amendments, and more. Here at DCJS, we are committed to keeping all constituents informed to ensure a smooth transition for everyone. For the first phase of implementation, we are in the process of transitioning a select number of DCJS grants, which have a January 1st start date. These grant programs would have received an email notifying them of the registration process. If you did not receive that email, then you will be sent implementation information from your grant monitor at a later time for your specific grant programs. During the training, please type your questions in the Q&A feature, and we'll try to answer them as we go along. At the end of the training, if time allows, we'll have a live Q&A session as well. After training, feel free to contact OGMS support at dcjs.virginia.gov if you have any additional questions. When sending an email, please include your grant program in the subject line so your email can be answered by the appropriate DCJS staff. For this training, we'll be using the SRO SSO Incentive Grant Program funding opportunity as an example. This is not the official solicitation for that grant program, and changes can still be made. Although each grant program may have different requirements, the system buttons are the same, which is the purpose for today's demonstration. At this time, I'd like to welcome Cassie Neer-Lewis and Tina Malone from Dulles Technology Partners, Inc., the vendor for OGMS. They will be conducting our training this morning and on Thursday. Cassie and Tina, thank you for coming, and I'll turn.
Thank you for having us. My name is Tina Malone, as she said, and my title is the Engagement and Client Relationship Director. And I will actually be logging in and showing you what you will see this morning, what will be steps and processes that you will follow. Cassie will help me from the internal side. You won't really see what she's doing, but she's going to help us so that we can move things along faster this morning, so we can show you the entire process of the registration and application. Would you like to say hello, Cassie?
Yes, hi, I'm Cassie. As she stated, you will not see my screen. You will watch Tina go through the registration process. I will approve her registration. You will get to see her go through your process, and then as I approve her, she will log in. I will play the part of the DCJS internal users, as we'll also show you what would happen if you would need to do like corrections on your application as well, and walk you through the correction process. And I'll play that internal part. So you won't see my screen, but I'll kind of walk you through what I'm doing behind the scenes as well. So that way you know what I'm doing behind the scenes too. You'll see Tina's screen the entire time. So you should be seeing Tina's screen right now. I see a couple of people in the chat saying they're not seeing a screen. You're not seeing Tina. You should be seeing the DCJS Online Grant Management System, the screen right there with the login ID and password. That's what's being displayed right now.
So Michelle, if you're ready, we'll get started if everybody is actually seeing the correct screen.
We're ready.
Fantastic. The first thing that you will do is you will go to your web browser. So this is compatible with many web browsers, and you will type in this URL. So you will type in the ogms.dcjs.virginia.gov. Once you actually put that into your URL, and you press enter, you will come to what we call the DCJS Online Grant Management System login page. So this is your login page. If you notice this page, you will have where you can enter your user ID and password. You will have a sign in eventually. So once you are registered, you would simply come in here by typing in again the URL and using your user ID that the system provides for you and the password you've set up. There's also a forgot user ID below the sign in and a forgot password. So if you do forget your user ID or you forget your password, then you can click on this and the system will automatically generate a new email with your user ID or password. What we are going to go over today is the registration. So we're going to use this yellow button to actually register first. I do want to note that you as external users will ignore the single sign-on because this is for internal users only. Also on the login page on the right-hand side of your screen will be announcements. These announcements, the DCJS staff are responsible for actually posting. So this will let you know, for example, the registration is now open, the training series that they are offering, such as today, and the technical support. It's important to watch the right side of your screen. These announcements do change over time. So we're going to begin by actually registering. So the first time everyone comes into the system, they must register to use the system. By registering, you receive a user ID and a password that the system automatically generates and sends that information to you in an email. So we're going to go ahead and click on this yellow click here to register button. So I'm going to click that and you will see the next page is the starting of your registration. The first thing that it will ask for is your personal contact information. What I would like for everyone to notice is that there are red fields and there are black fields on this page. The red fields indicate required fields. So anytime you see a red field, that means you are required to complete that field. When you see a black field is optional. So the first portion of this is entering your personal contact information. So you have a salutation. So I'm going to put in my salutation and my first name. So we're just going to type in the middle name. That is optional, but the first name and last name are required. And see how the box is red around that? That means I can't skip this for the registration. If you have a suffix, you can also enter in a suffix as well. You must enter in your title and a valid email. Now I want to talk about the actual email field that you're in. It's not only the fact that it needs to be a valid email, it must be your email address because the system sends automated alerts based on actions that happen in the system. If you do not put in your email address, you will not receive these alerts. And these alerts are critical because, again, the first thing is it gives you your user ID and password. So I'm going to put in my valid address that I'm using. And then it's going to ask for my address. Now, this can be your address of the location of the organization you represent, but we need an address. So for this purpose, I'm going to put in 123 Virginia Street. If you have a second address or a third address or a P.O. box, please enter it on the second or third line. And then enter your and your state, your zip code, and the +4. Your phone number, and again, these, if you can tell, these fields are formatted. If you have an extension, enter it in the extension. If you have a fax number, that is not a required field. However, if you do have a fax number, please enter it. The next field, if you read up above, is asking what program you are most interested in. This information is used in order to process your registration for purposes only, and it does not restrict your ability to apply for other programs. So we would just like for you to come in here and click on this drop down and enter in a program area of interest. Again, this doesn't necessarily mean that you can't apply for other funding for other programs. It just simply means this is a way to notify internal users to approve your registration by you stating which program area of interest. If I have the same information for my personal information up here, my address, I can copy that to make it easier. So I'm going to copy and I'm just going to say yes, and I want to show you that it'll actually enter in the same address down here. You will enter in your valid federal ID number. It is automatically formatted for you as well. And if you notice, it is allowing so many characters. So this truly has to be a valid federal ID number. You will enter your organization name. And this should be your valid organization. This should not be an acronym. The next drop down is your organization type. So you will come in here and you will enter by selecting your organization type. These fields, if you have your UEI, which is your unique entity identifier, please enter it. If you do not, you can skip this field. Enter your organization website, and it provides the example over here on the right-hand side. So you will put in your HTTP:// and then your website if you have one. Again, enter your address if it's not the same as up above, and your phone number, your fax, again, if it is, you know, if you have a fax, it is not a required field. Enter whether you are a faith-based organization. That is a toggle, yes or no. And if you are local government, you will enter the FIPS code. So this is another drop down. You will enter in your code. And when everything is complete, so let's go back and look at this. Again, all fields that are red are required fields. Then I save my registration information. There's a button up here At the top, there was also a button down here at the bottom. So I'm clicking on save. And as you can see, I received a confirmation that says, thank you for registering. A confirmation notice has been sent to your email address. Again, I cannot tell you how critical it is to put your correct email address, a valid email address. After your registration is approved, you will receive an email notification with a link to log into Web Grants for the Virginia Department of Criminal Justice Services using your confirmed credentials. So you may now return to the login screen.
So now an internal staff member has received an email notification that you have registered. And do know that it does take between hours and days to approve your registration. So it's not an immediate automatic process. When you are or have been approved, you will receive the emails, but just keep in mind it is not automatic. So it does take an internal staff member to go in there and verify your information and approve your account. So I'm going in now as the internal person and approving her account that she just registered.
And while she's doing that, I would like to show you the email. This is the first email that you will receive. It will look very similar to this. It will have your name, and it will tell you that your registration may take a few days. I also want to point out that you do not respond to these emails. These are system-generated emails that you will receive. So you do not reply all or reply back to these. This is what you want to pay attention to. For questions, you would simply type this in, or you can actually click on this and it will enter the OGMS support at DCJS email.
Yeah, Tina, we're not seeing the email on your screen, and I have approved your registration.
Does that not let me show that screen?
We're still seeing the confirmation of registration.
Let's see if I can do a new share. Is everybody seeing this now?
Yes.
So again, please do not respond back to these emails. These are system-generated emails. This will have your name. It'll tell you, thank you for registering, that your registration is currently under review. It may take a few days. And this will give you your actual login when you go to log back in. And if you have questions, you can copy or you can use this link to actually create an email if you have questions. And that will go to the OGMS support team at DCJS. Once you actually receive this, let me move this aside. And then you will receive this next one, and I'll make sure I share this screen as well. So can you see this screen where it says
Yes.
that my registration has been approved? Now this is for my password. So you will receive a temporary password from the system. And upon your first login with your user ID and this temporary password, you will have to change your password. We'll go over that as well. I also want to show you the other email that you will receive that will look similar to this. So can everybody see that this sent me my user ID? So this email is showing me my user ID. The previous email that I brought up was for your password, a temporary password. So you will receive 3 email alerts. One, a confirmation that you did register and DCJS staff did receive your registration request. You will then receive an email with your approved registration showing you your user ID, and a third one that is showing you your password. And again, that is a temporary password. So I'm going to move these over. And we are going to log back into the system. So you can either go up here again and type in OGMS. You can also use the link that's provided in the email address.
Tina, I think we're having the same issue as before. You've switched screens and it's still showing us the email, the previous screen you were
Okay.
showing. There we go. Now we're back on it.
So I'm just going to simply use this link to get back. And now I'm going to enter in my user ID that was in my email and the temporary password that was sent in a separate email. And then I click sign in. So once you actually sign in, this is where the screen will show you and tell you what you need to do to reset your password. So this will be your permanent password till it changes. So you must follow these rules. So it must be 8 characters long, but look, you must have at least 1 alphabetical letter, at least 1 numeric number, and at least 1 special character. So I'm going to come in here and I'm going to type in a password that follows these rules. I have to retype it also. What is this? This is my current password again. So go back to your email and enter in and then re-enter that password again. So we're going to go through this. So the first one is your temporary password. The second one and the third one must match. And if they do not match, then one of these screens will be red, or one of these fields will be red, and it will make you enter in it again till both of these match and they follow these rules up here. When you're done, click submit. So now you're going to come back to the login page, and this is where you're going to enter your user ID from the email. So mine is T Malone and 2, and then I'm going to enter my password that I created. And I will sign in. So once you create your user ID and your more permanent password, then you will simply use the sign in. You no longer have to register again. In fact, do not register again. If you do not remember your user ID or your password, use the links up here for the forgot user ID and the forgot password. Because if you do register again, you will receive a new user ID and a new password, but it will not connect you to the same organization. So do not register twice. If you are having difficulties, then please contact. And again, if you need that information, it is down here. You will contact technical support, and this is your information. So we're going to sign in. And now you will come to your home page. So this is what we consider the home page that has your menu on the left-hand side here, shows who is logged in. So it shows that I'm logged in and I am an external user. I'm a grantee. So I'm going to stop at this point. That is the registration. So I'm going to stop right here. Michelle, if you would like to say anything, if you would like to add any information about the registration, please do.
Tina, a lot of people are asking about registering twice. You only have to register once. That's correct, right?
That is correct. In fact, we do not want you registering twice. We want you only registering one time because the system will treat you as a new, different user if you register again. So please do not register twice.
And you can apply for multiple grants under that same registration.
Yes, you may. So by logging in with that one user ID and one password, that will give you access to any funding opportunities that are in posted status.
How long does the temporary password work until it expires?
It will work till you log in.
Okay, it
So
doesn't
that
expire.
temporary password does not, after like 30 days, it doesn't go away. It truly is a temporary password. So the first time that you actually enter that password in, that temporary password, it will force you to create your new password with the rules.
Thank you, Tina. Just to note that questions should be answered under Q&A, and we're going to answer the majority of the questions either through type and answer or at the end of the session. Thank you.
Tina, before you move on from the registration, I think before we go into the application, if you want to show how to update your information in the profile.
Yes, so once you actually receive a user ID and password, and that gives you access to the system, I want you to notice over here, you on the left-hand side, you have a dashboard with a work assignment, calendar, alerts. We'll go through these, the funding opportunities that are posted, applications once you've created your application, grants if you are awarded an application, and my profile. So what I want to show you now is my profile. This is my own profile, so you will all have your own profile. So let me click on that, and this is where it's going to show my full name. And if you look at these fields, you will see that they are the same ones that you registered with. This is the associated organization. So I have an organization. When you enter in that organization information, that's the organization that it will actually associate you with. I also want you to see up here on the right-hand side, you have a reset password. You have an edit my profile. So for this example, I am going to edit my profile, and you will see that these fields open up for me. So if my last name does change, I can change my last name. If my title would change, I can enter a new title. If I need to update my email address, I can do that also. If the organization business would move. I can update my address, my phone number. I can enter a fax. You can change your program area of interest, but at this point, it doesn't serve a purpose. The purpose was to actually notify that program that when you were registering, and for them to approve you or approve your registration.
It does not restrict your ability to apply for other programs. So
Correct. So I could come in here and say I put in the Burn JAG Assistance Grant Program. I could save. I can still very much apply for any funding opportunity that is in posted status. But it's very important that you come in here and on a regular basis, you keep your profile updated. If you need to reset your password, you can use this blue reset password. This is the organization information. So if this organization information does change, again, you need to contact the DCJS support, and they will update your organization information. So this is my profile. Again, every once in a while, it would be a great idea for you to come in here, click on my profile, and actually view it, make sure everything is up to date. Because again, the system is documenting this, and this is important information that will show on your application. And if you are awarded, on your grants, your claims, everywhere through the system. What we would like to show you first is the dashboard. So if I'm click back on the left-hand side on this dashboard, I'm going to click on work assignment. It's very important that the login page, once you log in, actually takes you to your work assignments, because this will show you what the approaching deadlines are for the next 30 days. This will display if a funding opportunity is closing and you've started an application. It will show here. Eventually, if you have an application that needs correcting, that will show here. Grant information, any documents basically with due dates in the next 30 days will show here for you. If something was actually corrected and what we call negotiated to you for corrections, then you will see that here. And it will show here, and again, these are links, so you can click on them and go directly to that application or to that grant form, whatever it is that they have negotiated back to you for corrections. Eventually, you may be responsible for completing monitoring activities. That would be this section here. If you have compliance documents for your organization that are due, they would show in this section here. So these sections keep you informed on any imminent or what is coming up in the next 30 days that is your responsibility to either correct or submit. There is also a calendar view of that. It's the same as your work assignments. It just shows you in a calendar view. The third button underneath your dashboard is your alerts. As I said earlier, alerts are generated automatically from the system. So this will compile your alerts that you've received. So for example, if you're away from your email, say you can't get into your Outlook or your Gmail, you can come into alerts and you can actually see the alerts that were sent to you, and you do not have to go to your email. It'll show you the date that it was created and sent. It'll show you who it was from. And this is something you need to familiarize yourselves with a lot. This should be in your safe email address, because you do not want these going into your spam or trash. They will all come from VA Grants DCJS at webgrantsmail.com. So it's very important that you recognize that, because this is exactly the email address that will show in your inbox when you receive these alerts. It'll show you who it's to. If you have a collaborator on your application, they will receive that same email alert as well. Watch the subjects. The subjects will be very important as we go through this process and as you actually start applying for applications. Watch the subject, because the subject will tell you your action. And then the message itself. So again, this was information that was my user ID and password. So therefore, that's why it has sensitive information and doesn't actually show it. So these are your alerts. You can come up here and you can say, well, I really don't ever want to see the date it was created or the status. And you can remove it to make it easier. That way, if you need to print this or even save this, you can do that. You can also search, like eventually, you know, you could search for an alert for a claim or status report. So this is your dashboard. Again, work assignments, calendar, and your alerts are all under your dashboard. Now, the next tab or button is the funding opportunities. And as we said, funding opportunities, regardless of what program area you put in that drop-down box when you register, will not stop you from applying for any posted funding opportunity. So as you can see that the status is posted. There could be several posted at the same exact time. The way you're going to differentiate from those is that you want to look at the program area and you want to look at the title. So we're using this one as an example, but this is truly only an example funding opportunity just to show you today. You aren't necessarily maybe even going to apply for the SASP or the SSO or the if we would show you JAG burn. What we want to show you today is that this functionality is the same regardless of which funding opportunity you're actually applying for. The forms may look different, but how to get there as far as navigation, and once we're in those forms, we're going to point out how you actually access forms. So it's very important, again, for you to know that this may not necessarily be the funding opportunity when you go to apply that you're going to utilize. This is truly just an example today. But regardless of the funding opportunity, you will come in, and when you see your dashboard like this, you will click on funding opportunities over on the left-hand side, and anything that is in post status will show here. Now, if I want to put them in title order, I can, or if I want to put them in number order, I can. If I want to put them over here in posted date, so any one of these columns, once you get more than one up here, you can put them in a specific order. The other thing to note is the final due date. So when you are actually looking at this posted funding opportunity or this list of posted funding opportunities, the final application due date will always show if there is one. If there isn't one, it will actually tell you that it's not applicable. So this one says that it's March 19th, 2021, and it will close that day at 5 p.m. When you see this, what that truly means is that the system will shut down this posted funding opportunity on March 19th, 2021 at 5 p.m. Now, again, I'm throwing out there that this is just an example. It doesn't even mean that the SSR or SRO program will close down at March 19th. We are just using it as an example today. If I want to apply for this, I simply click anywhere I want on that line. So I'm clicking on that line, and that will bring me up to my funding opportunity details. It will also bring me to a menu. So I want you to see up here, up across the top, that I've highlighted these buttons up here. There's a back button, a print button, an online help button, and a logout button. It is very important that all of you use our back button or use our menu here on the left, and that you don't come up here and use the browser to back clear out. So we want you to use our menu of the back, print, online help, and log out. And also throughout the application, you will be seeing other buttons. So this one is ask a question or start a new application. So we'll go over those in a minute. This is important information that you should read. And if you have any questions, again, you can ask a question through the system, or you can follow up with the program officer listed. Okay. So again, what this is telling you is that this is the funding opportunity title, and here are the funding opportunity details. Your final application, the status, the posted date, the award amount range, if there is one, the project start and end dates. If there's an award announcement date, it'll show here. Again, your program officer, who to call for your questions, who is actually managing this program, their phone number, and their email. The next section is the description. It is very important for you to read this description. And if there are any hyperlinks or links in here, make sure you click on them. It can provide you more information. This is about eligibility, about the deadline, about the amount available, the grant period, any match requirements. And again, if I want to click on this link, this will take me to the budget, grant guidelines. So it's very important that you read this description. To provide further information, they've also provided attachments. So this is the Education Composite Index of Local Ability to Pay, and it's an Excel spreadsheet. And this is the MOU in a Word document. You can click on these and they will come up in a window. So I'm going to click on this one. I'm going to show you that it came down below and it opens up, and let me share that. And now you can see that this is the Word document I clicked on. So we can close that out. I'm going to show you the same share again. So I'm going to take you back there. And there are website links. And website links will take you to the actual website for the Virginia Department of Education, the law enforcement, SRO, SSO, websites for the incentive and law enforcement. Now, these, again, depending on the funding opportunity that you are reviewing, you will have different information, different attachments, and different website links. Once you have read through this information, if you come back up to the top, you can ask a question. So if I want to click on ask a question, I can ask a question about the program. You ask any question you want. You have quite a bit of space there, so feel free to complete a question. And when you click save, an email alert is actually alerted to someone from that program, and that will allow them to review your question and they can post it. If they choose to post it,
I will go ahead and post it.
it will show, and I'll click on this again up here just to refresh.
I haven't posted it yet. I want to note as she navigates, just even as she's clicking around, like when she clicked on questions, there are instructions all over the system. As you go through, just take your time, especially as you're new to the system. Read the instructions. A lot of times even there's bolded instructions, like Tina, if you would click, once you've showed that I've posted that, if you would click on that question again, there's bolded instructions in there. Take your time through the system. There are a lot of helpful instructions. There are help buttons in the system as well, and instructions to help you as you go. Go ahead, Tina.
If there are questions that are posted for this funding opportunity, including yours, you will see it here. They will also send you an email. So if you're the one asking the question, you will also receive an email with the answer. So look for this as a Q&A at the bottom of the description of the website links. I'm going to scroll back up to the top. Any previously created applications will appear in this section right here. So once I start a new application, unless I'm truly completing another brand new application, I will never start a new application again for this funding opportunity because the system automatically saves it. So I can go in and out of that application as many times as I want. So let me go ahead and click the Start New Application button. When I do that, you are now what we call in an application wizard in step 1. This is a short wizard. It's going to expect you to enter an application title. So if you look up here again, this information is very helpful. As Cassie said, go through these screens slowly, read your instructions, read your information that's in blue. Those help you and guide you the entire way. And again, I want to make sure that you are noticing if they are red fields, they are required. So I must enter an application title. So you want to make your application title pretty short and sweet. I would say keep it around 100 characters. So for this purpose, I'm going to enter in application title for SSO. I'm also going to enter my initials in there. You do not have to enter your initials. This is only for the purposes of today. The system automatically knows I'm logged in. It identified me when I entered my user ID and my password and clicked log in. So it knows that I'm Tina Malone as an external user. So it automatically shows me as the primary contact. Now, when creating this in the step 1 of the wizard, it will automatically have your name. So if somebody else is associated with that organization, so it's not person, it's if someone else is associated with that same organization as you, you can change the primary contact. However, I want to note that whoever is listed as the primary contact is the only one that can actually come in and update the title or the primary contact information. So I'm going to show you that. So I'm going to click save because I've entered in the first step 1 of the wizard. Now I'm in step 2 of the wizard. So step 2 is select the organization for which you will be submitting this application. And the primary contact is the individual in your organization who will be designated as a primary person responsible for this application. If that is not you, then you want to make sure that whoever is the primary contact, because the primary contact is what shows on all your documentation once you've submitted in. So in the next screen, I've made myself the primary contact. So that means that I will show, and the organization that I choose, that I select, will show on this application when it's submitted in. If you are associated with more than one organization, it will also show in this dropdown. If it does not show another organization, you're only associated with that one organization. If you need to be associated with another organization, please contact your DCJS support. Once I've entered the application title, if I want to change it, I can here, but I've selected my org. You are in step 2. We are going to save this form information, and we will go to the last step. This is step 3. This is an optional step. If you want anyone else to help you in a collaboration effort to complete your application, you want to scroll down and make sure that you select your additional applicants so they can actually log into.
And
so they
note
have to
in
be
this step,
registered users of the system.
yeah, Tina just said it. They have to have already been registered and approved, just like you. You can't just add someone else. They have to have gone through the registration process. They have to be associated with your same exact organization. And if you guys are both associated with the same exact organization, then you will see them in the dropdown. If you don't have anybody in that dropdown, it's because you don't have another registered user that's been approved for your same exact organization.
So again, if you need someone and you're not seeing them there, you want to contact DCJS support. Once I have completed the 3rd step of the wizard, I will save this information again. So the system walks you through the wizard. So just simply go through that process. Now, the status is in editing. This will stay in editing status, and this header will show you this information the whole entire time. You now have an application ID assigned. So if I would log out of the system right now, I do not create a new application. I have an application already. So if I was to log out and say, come back to the dashboard, so I'm going to show you, we're going to pretend I logged out, I logged back in and came to the dashboard, I would now go down and click on applications. And there it is. It's in editing status number 869. Another way to find it, if I don't want to click on applications, is go back to funding opportunities. And again, click on the funding opportunity anywhere in the line, and you will see it right here. Now you have an application that's started. So you do not click start a new application. So we're going to click on that again. And again, you can get to that from the funding opportunities or applications. Once I've started my application, I can still very much ask a question. I can edit that application and complete more information. I can also withdraw it. If you need to withdraw this, you would click this withdraw button, and it will give you a box and you can explain the reason why, and that will be documented. So for this purpose today, I want to show you the preview. So again, this is listing the funding opportunity that you selected, the funding opportunity due date, when it's going to close down, and what time, what program area. Again, it's an editing status. It is a final application. Eventually, when we submit, it will document who submitted and the date they submitted. Again, the primary contact is listing me because I kept myself as the primary contact through the wizard. This is also listing my organization information. So your registration information is very important, and so is your profile. So if you see something incorrect on your profile, then you will go back to my profile, edit that again, and update that information. And then it starts with the actual forms, the phase sheet. Now these forms past this organization and primary contact information are relevant to the program for the funding opportunity you have selected. So I'm going to go ahead and click Edit Application because I'm ready to actually complete my forms. So the general information was what I completed through the wizard. So that's why it shows as complete, and it shows the last edited by. I want you to notice up here in red, it says application cannot be submitted currently because the application components are not complete. Again, watch your menus, watch your instructions. This will stay in red till you can actually mark all of these complete and you're ready to submit. When the system has it ready to submit and you've done everything that is required of you to get this application submitted, this turns green. So you will go through the process of completing these forms. So this is only relevant, again, to this funding opportunity. So when we're going through these forms, it's more to show you the navigation of how the forms work, because they work the same way. Might be a totally different name than phase sheet or project narrative, okay? So how we access those is we click on it. So I'm going to click on the phase sheet. And the first time that you come in here, they will open in editing mode, what we call in editing mode. All fields are open, as you can see that. You see all the way down through here. I can come in, I will read the instructions for what it asks me to do per field. So I will also pay attention to anything that is in red. Now there may be conditional in here too. I'll show you that if we do run across one here, but we're going to actually kind of go through these forms. Again, what I'm going to do is I'm going to read each field and then answer that field. So select the congressional district. Now this is districts. So I can choose all that apply. So I can go first or third, or I can hold down my control and I can go first, second, third, fourth, fifth. So this is a multiple select. I can select all that I want to apply. Best practice, yes or no. This is what we call a yes/no toggle. So if I click yes, or I can click no. This is select your jurisdiction served. Again, this is what we call a multi-select. So I can click on one with my mouse and I can go through here and I can use my control, hold down my control and just keep clicking. Program title, refer to solicitation. So you're going to put in the same title as the solicitation. Not a required field. Certified crime prevention community. Click here to see if you are certified. I can actually click on this and I can open it in a link in a new tab, which I'm going to do today so you can actually see it on the screen. And then this brings up any links to any more information that I need. So the system is helping you by showing you links all along the way. We have a drop down here. This is new continuation or revision. In this case, it is not a multi-select. I can only select one. I can't select more than one. This is what we call conditional show. So if it's, I select new, then I move on to the community setting field. If I select continuation, it's going to ask me more information. So I need to enter a grant number. Now that field is very much required because it's a continuation of grant. So this is what we call conditionally show and conditionally required fields. It's going to expect me to enter in my grant number. And if I click on the next field, see how it's highlighted in red? Now I have to put in my performance statement. As you can see, it has a character count. So as when I keep typing, if I would keep, do you see how it's actually counting the characters down and telling me what I have left? Community settings, this is another type of select. And it's what we call a multi-select. So I can just keep selecting or unselecting. The brief project overview is 750 characters. So I have up to 750 characters left. So I would type in a project overview. Say I got a phone call at this point. If I click save, I can save that form. I can go back and I can change anything that I want to, but I won't be able to mark it as complete because I have other required information that I must complete before I can mark it as complete. So it's very important for you to know you can come in and out of each form and you can edit and save as many times as you want, but you will not be able to mark this form complete until all required fields are completed on this section. So here's the next section. See how you have this gray in between? I'm in the project director section. So this is required that I fill out the name, title, address, phone number, fax, email, and mailing address. Project administrator, again, and I want you to watch what it's saying above here, even down below. This will guide you all the way through. And Cassie, are you completing these forms behind the scenes for me? So if I move on to the next form?
I certainly can. I want to interject just for a minute. We have an overwhelming amount of questions, which is fantastic. I'm glad we have so many people that are on. I want to just announce that there are some that we are going to leave out there. We will answer them later. Some of the program specific questions we will not be able to answer because we can't just answer for all programs at once. So the ones that are just hanging out there, we are reading them. We will answer them later at the end. Yes, Tina, I will complete some of those forms for you, so you don't have to sit there and complete all of them. I just wanted to announce that about the questions as well. So keep on typing those questions in there, and if you're hanging out there, we're not forgetting about you. We'll answer those later.
So anywhere on here, I can continue to save the form. Like I said, I can go in and out of these forms as many times as I want. But once I have completed an entire form and I have completed all the required fields on a form, I can mark this form as complete. Now, Cassie's going to do this for me behind the scenes so we can move on. So the next form. Now, again, I can back out using this menu here. I can click back out and I can leave. Okay, I don't have to complete that form at that point in time. There is an application list. So if I click on application list, I can get to all of my forms in this view. If I actually click in to the budget. If I want to go to any one of the other forms, I just hover over them if I want to see. So there's my project narrative form. There's a goals and objectives form. There's a free personnel and employee fringe benefit. And again, we're working on the SRO, SSO, but it does not mean these will be the same exact forms. They will not. They might be similar. Some might be the same. But you will go through each form either in the app listing or this way, and we are going to have to fill out all the required fields and save them and then mark that form as complete. This is what we call a grid section. So this budget is a budget form and it's asking for dollars, but it's a grid. So I'm going to click over here on edit grid. As you can see, it all opens up. It shows your dollar signs. This is where you would put in your personnel, consultant, travel, subsistence, equipment, whatever is listed as your categories over here. For this purpose, I'm just going to enter personnel information. You would enter the federal amount, the state amount, if there's any special amount. If there's match showing on here, you must enter your match. And in kind. And as I'm going through this, you can tab through these fields to get through there quicker. Or you can simply come down here and you can say, for indirect cost, I have $50. Again, I can save the grid. I can come back at any time. Once you enter into this grid, then you will see that it'll add the dollars for you. You do not have to do this. So it's going to add the dollars for the federal, state, whatever columns are here, and then your total program over here. If I want to edit again, I just simply click edit grid again, and I can save it. You will scroll down through these forms until you complete all of them or they all are completed. Now, I want to point out that this is what we call a multi-list section. The funds from other sources is a multi-list. It means that I can come over here and instead of editing, I click add row. So I click add row, I scroll down and I enter my source. So for this purpose, I'm going to put source number 1, and I'm going to put my amount from other sources. I'm going to put $500. When I click save and I scroll down again, it shows my source 1 and my $500. But look, I can add another row. So I click add row again. Scroll down to that section. I can put and enter a second source and a second amount. What we call this is basically, it's multiples of the same exact field. You're just simply going to keep clicking add. So if someone comes in here and has 2 sources like I'm showing here, they click add row twice. Somebody else, if they have 6 other fund sources, they just simply click add row and they just keep entering till they have completed all of their source information. You will see this throughout the application. So you will find that you will have grids that are the edit and save. A grid, again, is an edit and save. You will have multi-list sections, which is you click the add row and you can enter in as many entries as necessary. And then you would save the row. If I want to go back and I really do need to only have 2, I can click on this source 3 on that multi-list and I can delete a row or I can update it and save. Okay, once we have completed this, Then we mark it as complete. So now I have the budget marked as complete. And as you can see, Cassie is going through the other forms and they are marked as complete. I am still in a red state, so I cannot submit this until all the other forms marked as complete. So I'm going to enter in the project narrative, what we call just a single value field. So these sections are single value. So again, it's just one single text field, and this one is for 5,000 characters. This one also 5,000. So look for your characters on these large text boxes, because it's saying if you don't have anything, you can click and put an NA in the box, or you would fill out your demonstration of need, your project description, and again, it's going to count it down for you, your service area targets, or we say NA. Again, you're going to have to watch your instructions up at the top, and that will let you know what you need to enter in these fields. So this is what we call just single fields. You just click save. If that's all I have to complete, I can use my next button, go on to the next form, or I can mark this one as complete. And as you can, starting to mark all of these as complete. But I could go back to this project narrative. Even though I've marked it as complete, I still can edit. I can edit anything until I've submitted. I can back out, I can leave until I've submitted. Let's go to the application list. And we have the face sheet. Are you working on the face sheet, Cassie? So while she's working on that, let's go over a couple more options. So we can actually preview the application at any time. So again, I can go through, I can see now the information that's entered on the face sheet and all the other forms. It'll show what is required, not required fields all the way through. When I get up to the top, I can print this. I can print it to PDF. I can send it to the printer and save it as a PDF, or I can print it out. Again, my options are also to withdraw, and I can edit the application. So let's go back in. And she's working on this face sheet. This is going to take a while, I think. So let's see if we can mark it as complete. We still have the project administrator to complete.
Yeah, I'm almost there.
So this project administrator information.
Almost done.
So Cassie, please let me know when you're completed.
Almost done, Tina. Okay, should be done.
Okay. Now that she has completed all those forms, it is showing green, and now you'll have a submit application. So now your submit application budget comes up. One last thing I do want to show you on this is I would like to show you there are attachments in here as well that may be expected of you. If you go to add a new attachment, you click add new attachment, you will select your file, and then it will come up and show you anything that you want to from your own directory. You would click on say a Word doc, whatever form, enter your description of that form, and you would save. So it's very important to know that attachments work like multi-list in some areas. If they have an add new attachment, you can simply just keep uploading as many attachments as you need. If that is not the attachment that I do need, I can delete it also. There is a delete button. I'm going to go back to my application list. And now, as you can see, everything is marked as complete. It is showing that I, along with the system administrator, completed these forms when they did. So if somebody goes back and actually updates it, you can see that as well. When you are ready, you will click on the submit application. And this is your confirmation. Now it says, please confirm that you wish to submit this document for review, because after submission, you will not be able to edit this document, and you won't. So if you don't want to and you don't think you're ready, click cancel. When you are ready is
Tina,
when you will click submit. Once you submit, that status will change to submitted. And you can always find it, you can always print it, but it's locked down from further editing. As you can see, I cannot edit anything, but I will always have a view of that. Now, what has happened is it's documenting that I actually submitted it and the date I submitted it, but I no longer actually have privilege to edit this any longer. This is over on DCJS's side. So that's how we actually complete an application. We started it, we edited it, and we submitted it.
I want you to see the print option up at the top too. I saw that as a question, so that's answered live. You do always have access to your applications. You don't have editing rights, but you don't lose your application. You can see it, you can print it. Look at the last submitted date. See how that is blank? That's what we're going to go over next. So the initial submitted date and the initially submitted by, that was just done. So it's been submitted into me. This is my time internally for the internal staff to review that application that was just submitted. Now, there is an opportunity, if I would go through the review process and open it up for corrections, I can actually unlock it if needed. And I could say, hey, you missed something, or I need some corrections from you. And the DCJS staff can actually unlock a portion of your application for you. It may not be your entire application. They can unlock a portion or just one form, or maybe all of the application if they need some of it updated for you. So I am going to go in on the internal side and review a portion of her application that she just submitted. And that's going to update that last submitted date. So if it is negotiated back to you for corrections, you will be notified. So you will receive an email. Tina can show you that email that you'll receive. So you'll be notified. It will appear on your dashboard as well. So you'll see that when you log in, you will have a due date to send that back in, and that internal staff person will tell you why they unlocked it and what they are expecting. And only the portion that they unlocked will be open for editing. So we're going to show you that part next. So what I'm doing on my side, on the staff side, is I'm reviewing this application, and I am saying a portion of it needs updated. Tina, I'm unlocking the goals. I'm going to say that I need additional information on your goals and objectives.
Okay.
What this does is it sends out that email to the applicants. It puts the application in correcting. So see how it immediately shows up when she logs in now, and it shows up on the recent negotiations. She also received an email. So it's right there on her dashboard, so she is aware.
So this is what the email will look like. It will let you know that someone from DCJS has unlocked it and that they're requesting more information. And it says, please provide additional information on your goals. So even the email alert will let you know what it is you need to provide additional information on or correct. Once you receive your email alert in your inbox of, again, Outlook, Gmail, you will log into the system and you will come to your work assignment. There are two ways you can find this, but really it's just as easy to do it right from your dashboard. That's the point of your dashboard, in fact. But I can still go under applications and I can find it under my applications. For this purpose, I'm going to click on the link here and go directly to this application. As you can see, it's the same application, same number, that didn't change, same title. And when I edit the application, the only thing that she unlocked is what will show. And again, I will show in red up here until I complete all the required fields and mark it as complete. So if I go back to the goals and objectives, I click on that goals and objectives form, I will click edit form and I will update my information. Now, if it's not here and I don't need to make this correction, don't forget to always look for your other sections. So this one that she wants me to update is the goals and objectives. So I'm going to add another row. And when I add another row, then I can name my goal number 1, 2, 3, 4 and add a new goal and a new objective, new activity, and month. And then I'm going to save my row. And again, that's a multi-list. You can add as many rows as you want. Once I have updated what they have asked me to do, I can mark it as complete when I'm done. And now I'm ready to submit. And I will click submit application and I click submit. And now it's back in submitted status. And if I want to click on it, I can reprint it. It shows me the most current information on my goals. So again, whatever you're updating, you can print it again, and then you can see that those goals now include my new row. So that is submitting an application and actually correcting and resubmitting. So now if you look, I now have a last submitted date. This portion of the negotiation may happen more than one time. So if you watch your emails and you receive another alert, it's probably another indication that you may have to update something else on your application. Okay, so we have done our presentation. I want to hand it over to the DCJS committee and see if they have any questions on the program specific questions.
Let's see. So the person that originally was supposed to handle this part is out sick. I'm just gonna, there's a couple questions that Casey and Tina, you can help answer. Oh, and everyone will in the recording, but we will be sure to post Q&A questions online so that everyone can see them. They